There's been a great number of episodes which have been wiped from the BBC archives. Some of them I would class as classics, and some of them I would class in my favourites. Join me in this journey as I go through my top 10 lost episodes that I want to see return to the BBC archives. So welcome to part 1 of the collaboration for the top 10 lost episodes. Today it will be starting with me on the Monday, and then part 2 will be on Friday, part 3 will be on Saturday, part 4 will be on Sunday morning, and part 5 will be on Sunday evening, because I can't do Monday because that's the Web of Fear unboxing. So let's get started straight away at number 10. Number 10 we have Galaxy 4. Love even more since I got it on audio, and since now I have got the reconstruction of Galaxy 4 with the Aztecs Special Edition. Yeah, I do really enjoy the reconstruction from Galaxy 4. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I do really like this story. It has a very good twist to it, and I would like to see the other 3 parts return, because part 3 is now brought back to the BBC archives. I would like to see this all return, hopefully. So that was number 10, Galaxy 4, the underrated Galaxy 4. Moving on to number 9. Number 9, we have The Massacre. An absolutely tremendous historical story this one is. It's really emotional, this one as well, where Stephen has a very good relationship with a girl, and with episode 4, which I want to see the most, it's an absolute catastrophe happens, and probably the most emotional ending ever in Doctor Who, and I would just love to see the ending of The Massacre. One of the best conclusions ever for a Doctor Who story. So that was number 9, The Massacre. Moving on to number 8. Number 8 we have The Abominable Snowmen. I freaking love the Yeti. They are fantastic monsters. I would definitely call the Yeti one of the best monsters in the classic series, which can take down a Dalek any day by ripping it to pieces. Yeah, I love the Yeti so much. I can't wait for the Web of Fear, and I would like to see this one story as well, because it features the first appearance of the Yeti and the Great Intelligence. I would say the Web of Fear is better in all categories: film and locations, the Yeti themselves, the acting, and the characters as well. Actually, the filming location for this is quite good as well. They're about half and half. Actually, no, I do prefer the Web of Fear, because it's the London Underground. But still, it's still fantastic. And I actually was quite surprised about this story. I thought it was going to be very dull for some reason, but I really enjoyed it. Fantastic. So that was number 8, The Abominable Snowmen. Moving on to number 7. Number 7, we have The Faceless Ones. Brilliant story. It's really, really good. It's remembered by the departure of course, Ben and Polly, so this is why this story is so remembered. And is it a classic? Oh, I have to say it's a classic story. It's definitely a murder mystery about why this ray gun's on the Earth. It's not developed on Earth yet, so they need to find out. People are going missing after the planes take off from Gatwick, so they have to find this mystery of what's going on. Fantastic story this one is. First time listening to it, I didn't like it. That was near enough around 2008. When I listened to it a second time, that was just about a year after, I loved it. Since I've got episode 1 and 3, I've watched them before, so it's just a fantastic story. I would love to see this return. So that was number 7, The Faceless Ones. Moving on to number 6. Number 6, we have The Wheel in Space, the only remaining Cyberman story which hasn't been released on DVD. I would love to see this Cyberman story. I think a lot of people would like to see the Cyberman in the 60s, because they were at their best in the 60s. The moon base, the Tomb of the Cybermen, the invasion, and The Wheel in Space. This story is written by David Whittaker from an idea from Kid Pedler, both one of my favourite writers. I would love to see the story return, because it's one of David Whittaker's stories, and I just love David Whittaker. Moving on to number 5. Number 5, we have the mother of all Hartnells is being called the Daleks' Master Plan. Without a doubt, it's a classic. Absolutely classic story. It starts fantastically, and it ends in probably the most darkest way for Doctor Who ever. With so many deaths, I would class this as one of the most darkest Hartnell stories, probably even in Doctor Who's history. The acting is probably at its best ever. Every single actor in this story plays a top performance. Definitely, the Daleks' Master Plan is a superior story. So that was number 5, the Daleks' Master Plan. Moving on to number 4. Number 4, we have the Celestial Toymaker. Even though I did say I rate the Daleks' Master Plan even more than the Celestial Toymaker, because I said the Celestial Toymaker is a very visual story, and it's very difficult to take in on audio format, but it would be such a classic if this story actually was recovered. It has probably one of the most interesting sort of villains, which I think should return, is the Celestial Toymaker, played by Michael Gough. Definitely a very good, tremendous actor to play the Celestial Toymaker. And even though the story's quite basic, if you lose, you're dead. If you win, you carry on. Definitely a fantastic story. Moving on to number 3. Number 3, we have an almighty story. I even done a reaction of this, of how good it was. It's just the evil of the Daleks. This was originally going to be the Daleks finale. To start, there would be no more Daleks. They would be not with us anymore, but of course they were brought back into Day of the Daleks. But this is a very good finale. It has the first appearance of the Dalek Emperor, and the Daleks are very well brought into this. They actually arrived quite quick for this, but it's good that the Dalek Emperor isn't rushed to be a very surprising enemy to approach in episode 6's cliffhanger just about, and that was just a fantastic cliffhanger. All in all, it's just a perfection of a story. I think at least everyone behind their head, in some way, shape or form, wants to see the evil of the Daleks, because I really do. So that was number 3, the evil of the Daleks. Number 2, Fury from the Deep. An absolute classic. I was very impressed with this story. Just absolutely tremendous. The reason why I like this story as well, because the monsters really remind me of the Krynoid, which, as I said, the Krynoid are my favourite monster, and they do remind me a lot like them. As well, this story is going to be one of the most scariest stories ever on Doctor Who, and a very famous scene exists from the story, and it is very well remembered by 2 parts of it. It is Victoria Waterfield's final story, and remembered by this guy right here. So that was number 2, Fury from the Deep. At number 1, some people might see this coming. This story here just blew me away. I think people know what it is, so I'll just get it right here. So at number 1, we have Power of the Daleks. I love this story so much. This is everybody's, Patrick Troughton's fans' dream to see return to the BBC archives. Everyone would class this at least in their top 10 if they love Patrick Troughton the most. Absolutely a classic story. I was blown away of how cunning and how sly the Daleks were. They were really threatening, and they made themselves look superior at their very best. This is where the Daleks are at their very best. Power of the Daleks is definitely my winner for the lost episodes. So I hope you enjoyed my list. That was my list. Maybe, yeah, of course people would disagree with me. Everyone has different sort of lists, but Power of the Daleks is my winner. Stay tuned for part 2 of the collaboration. That will be with DrWhoFreakHD on Friday. So stay tuned for his video. It will be coming up at Friday. So stay tuned for that video, and you will see Doctor Who Free HD on Friday. So take care.